I am called Thuso Mafoko, but commonly known as the VYGOS on the stage. That is me.
Can't define a lonely yet not tedious moment, the right location for the right meditation and concentration. The pen freely dropping some ink as one sincerely envisaged the river ceaselessly flowing all the seasons.
I always loved singing, but then the thing is, I wasn't good in singing. So I had to find something or think of something that can sing for me, that I can use to sing instead of me singing. And ultimately, I encountered with the guitar as my first instrument. I learned the guitar, and all of a sudden I had an opportunity to go and study music in Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal University. And that's why I interacted much with the jazz guitar, just learning the guitar in general and learning music in general, because I graduated with a BA in music. There was one professor, Salim Washington, who was a tenor saxophonist, and I think he is one of the people who made me to like the saxophone much. The sound of the saxo as well. I think it hit me better than the sound of the guitar, and ultimately I bought the saxophone and I learned it, and so far I would say it's coming up well. So that is how I interacted with music. I am currently focusing on saxophone because I'm still trying to interact much with it, but there and there when I find time, but yeah, not when I find time per se, but I always create time for the guitar as well, because even in the collective Poetavango, so there are elements where I put in some guitar as a backing music for some poets. Yeah, so I can't completely abandon it. No matter how much I'm putting the energy on the saxophone, I'll always revert back to the guitar. I think music and poetry, they will always go together. I haven't abandoned poetry. I always write, although I'm not that regular into writing poetry, but there and there when an inspiration comes, I jot down the lyrics in poetry form. And I think even during the performances, upcoming performances, I will always maybe feature poetry and music together. I can't maybe just focus on music only in a show.
She asked me, have you met Miss Jones? And I said, yes.
You know me much as a poet, because even music-wise, I haven't staged in big stages. I am mostly, I would say, coming underground, but not in those big stages, jamming much with the band. So I will be denying my audience an opportunity to hear much of my poetry. I would say it had both the negative and the positives. Starting with the negative, I would say, like everything came to a stop, and we are not interacting much to rehearse, and ultimately the paying shows, they also have to stop, and that means it compromised the income a bit. And the positive side, I would say, that was the time when maybe as an artist you get to reflect on your art, to do much of the writings. Although I think myself, I didn't do much of the writing, but instead, that was the time when I bought my instrument, my saxophone, and I interacted much with the saxophone in those period of COVID-19, and that is the positive that I took, and I'm going forward with that. Yeah, people will get to see VYGOS perform on July 2nd. And then have a museum from 7 p.m. That is where there will be some live poetry and live music as well. So I encourage everyone to pull in on the day. Ticket is sold for 100 pula. They can find them here in the museum. and even on our Facebook page, Poetavango. You can like it, and then you will have the opportunity to get our live updates.